Hi everyone, Kim Watson here with another process video for Hip Kit Club. This week I'm playing along with the Friday sketch contest, so I'm going to show you my take on that lovely sketch. As you can see here on my iPad, that is the sketch that I'm going to be using. So I don't know if you noticed, but the photographs and the journaling and title are stacked on the right hand side of the page with a dominant chevron on the left hand side. So I'm going to obviously follow the basic structure of that sketch, but with my own little twist. So the other thing about today's post is that the theme was, or like a secondary theme, which was all about boys. So you'll notice what I'm doing now in the video is I'm going through all the exclusive ephemera that came with July kits, and I'm sorting it into male and female themed products. I'm trying to avoid using pretty pinkish colors on this page. I really want to stick to sort of blues and citrus colors. So I'm just isolating the different embellishments that came with the kits that will suit this type of color palette. I don't know if you are noticing these gorgeous little die cuts flying past. They were actually designed by Kimberly Hutchinson for the July kits. Aren't they fantastic? I mean, they are so versatile, the colors are so pretty. I like the fact that these July kits are not your typical summer colors. The colors are softer than usual, but not pastel, so they would be what I would categorize as mid-tone shades. And I'm loving this new cornflower blue that is so popular right now. Then of course mixing that cornflower with that gorgeous acid yellow and the orange for me is just like super nice, super gorgeous. Just such a great change away from the usual bright, super primary summer palettes. So there we go, I've got the ephemera that I feel that I could possibly use on this page separated. Now I'm going through the exclusive wood veneer. There were tabs and little pennants and labels. Gorgeous, but now you have to watch this. Kimberly, the genius that she is, came up with these adorable acrylic wood veneer combination embellishments that are in the shape of ice creams and lollies. Aren't they absolutely fabulous? I mean, how cute are those? I mean, tell me those aren't just adorable. So I've kept them aside. Not that I'm going to use them on this page, but I thought you might appreciate seeing how super sweet they are. So here you'll notice I've now isolated the acrylic and the wood veneer products that I think will suit this page. Next comes the exclusive white acrylic die cut words, which are, wow, aren't they just amazing? Look at that, gorgeous font, beautiful words, so easy to use. I love the fact that they're chunky and they're super bright white, which looks really great against cardstock. I have a real issue with cardstock in that it is so seldom that cardstock comes super white bright. Golly, getting tongue-tied. Super bright white. They're always either slightly blue or slightly yellow, and anyway, so I'm glad that the acrylic is going to show up against the cardstock background because it is so bright white. Those are the lovely exclusive washi tape bits that came in the July kits. Simple stories, fun summery chipboards, but they weren't suitable for what I was looking for. Okay, now I'm going to get started. Okay, so what I'm doing is I decided to make use of either one of the journal cards or some of the really great packaging that came in some of those exclusive embellishments that Kimberly designed. I like the fact that the designs firstly were really usable. The designs were simple and versatile, and the colors were obviously quite boyish. So I've put a few of those aside as well as potential items I can use in this page. So I've taken the broad stripe backing card, and as I don't know if you remember, but the sketch literally is set up with the photographs, journaling and title stacked on top of each other in a long rectangular cluster on that right hand side. So I've done exactly that. But what I'm going to do is layer a couple of pattern paper designs together just to create a little bit of interest. I'm just roughly marking them off and then cutting them to size. I wasn't sure about that dark teal. I thought maybe it might be too contrasty, so swapped it for this nice patchwork design that incidentally I designed for my Savannah Dreams collection for Pretty Little Studio. As you can see, it works really, really nice stacked underneath those other patterns. That acid yellow strip came off one of the exclusive papers. I like the way that it grounds the design by, or holds that right hand side of the page. Now what I'm doing is just going through those ephemera that I set aside, and I'm just playing around a little to see what works, what doesn't work. There are two of those really cute little cloud die cuts, which I thought looked really great on the bottom right corner. So what I'm going to do is really work with them, and decided to use them as a title mat. Or you'll notice what I'm doing. I cut a piece of packaging which I'm using to stick my alphas onto before I commit them to the page. So in doing this, what I can do is get a really good feel for how the title will look. I can get my spacing perfect. I can decide how I'm going to stack the alphas, etc., etc. And then of course, once I'm happy, I just transfer those from the packaging piece directly onto the layout. It's a great way of making sure that you don't mess up the page by leaving adhesive in areas, you know, where you've removed items. It just makes nasty sticky patches. So I find that this sort of technique works really, really well. Here what I'm doing is I grabbed the backing card from one of the exclusive Puffy Sticker Alphas sets. It is that really cool random black dot, and I will add it to the striped layering that's happening on the right hand side. Now here what I'm doing is using some of the brand new liquid watercolor paints from Pinkfresh Studio. The colors are super vibrant and punchy, and they are really bright. So I didn't really want to add them directly to the layout because I'd never worked with them before, and I wasn't quite happy with the shade of yellow. It had too much magenta in it, so I hand mixed my own shade, which makes the yellow a little more acidic, and obviously it then matches the page a lot better. I'm just here using a small paintbrush with the watered down watercolors and adding some nice acid yellow splatter. I just used a piece of old packaging to cover my photo cluster to make sure that I didn't get ink where I didn't want it. Because you know Murphy's law, you're going to splatter that sucker and it's going to land on the face of the photo. I've done that so many times, and then nothing you can do. Once it's there for life. Anyhow. There we go. I'm not tempting fate. I am covering the photos. I went and dabbed the puddles of ink, and then of course not realizing that because I'd watered the ink down so much by dabbing them, I actually just dabbed it right off the page. So I'm doing it all over again. There we go. Ink is dry. Now I can start adding the bits and adding adhesive and all the other little embellishments. I thought I'd work on the horizontal layering of the strips on the right hand side and add one of those little die cut wood veneer sentiments and then lay it vertically along the edge of the paper strip. I just felt it needed a little more weight though, so you'll notice in a minute I'm going to add a few more embellishments. Once again, I'm using my gel adhesive from Queen & Company, which you can buy on their website. If you are needing the link, if you go through to my Instagram account and you look under my link tree, you will find a link to the online store where you can purchase that lovely gel adhesive. So here we go. I've stitched the strips down and left some nice long threads, which I'm really liking at the moment. And just using my fingernail, lifting the edge of those strips, I give it a nice 3D vibe. Oh yeah, this is what I mentioned. I thought I'd add some extra embellishments to that top right corner. I really like these enamel accents, but wasn't quite sure where to use them. And as you can see, it works nice. Well, it becomes part of that top cluster. Those little taggy things are part of the frame and tag set that I designed for Savannah Dreams for Pretty Little Studio. The colors of course match perfectly. Now I didn't want to waste the entire item, so trimmed off what would be hidden underneath the cluster and then used the tops of the tags as part of my top right hand corner cluster. In that way I can obviously ensure that the colors are perfect, that I've got some nice balance going on, and of course just utilizing my embellishments to their maximum. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to add my version of the chevron design, which you saw in the sketch. I thought because I'm going for this white minimalist vibe this week that I would machine stitch. So added a combination of different size zigzags, different length running stitches, and again, because the thread is a slightly different color to the cardstock, it shows up nicely on the background, creating this really nice subtle textured chevron, which is working nicely with the sophisticated vibe of this page. Adding a few acrylic stars for color balance. That sticker sheet, as well as part of Savannah Dreams, I made sure to add a few little sketchy stars on the sheet, which of course add a little bit of black punch to my page. I love the fact that I'm, by dotting them around, again, it's just creating more interest and visual triangles within the page design. Here I am trying out more accents. I added some more tabs and that adorable little blue bird, which then became part of my title cluster. Kimberly did such a great job with all these die cuts. The variety is fantastic. There's something for every occasion. Now what I'm doing is punching some white circles. So again, it's more for a little texture, a little interest, and also to maximize this whole white on white thing that I've got going on. The space underneath my title was the perfect area for my hand journaling. So I just captured the story about why my little guy was looking so cool in his big boy clothes. He was off to a birthday party, insisted on Justin Bieber hair and a red bow tie. You gotta love it when your kids are unique. He was a real standout amongst all the other kids with their surf t-shirts and board shorts. That's my little guy. Now I'm adding a few hand-stitched crosses to the dots. Again, it's more for tactile interest and a little bit of extra color balance. A foam mat and a really sharp awl is a great way to pre-poke the holes through the page so that you don't damage yourself when you attempt to add the crosses. To do it blindly without pre-making the holes, I know I have shed enough blood and got enough layouts damaged through the needle going into my thumb. So yep, I learned the hard way. I know this is not very interesting, but I just thought you might be interested to see how I stitched those crosses and tied knots at the back. You'll notice the one little knot there has a piece of adhesive tape. That's because the piece of thread underneath was too small to knot, so I just stuck it down. And lastly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a date using just a regular stationer's date stamp or library date stamp and some medium grey ink. I'm getting ahead of myself. What you saw me doing there earlier is just adding a few more yellow splatters. I just felt there wasn't quite enough. So yeah, another fantastic month of Hip Kit Club kits. I absolutely love the fact that because these kits are so incredibly well coordinated, you know, putting together my monthly scrapping is so simple. Here you can see some close-ups of the detailing. Again, the colors are perfect, everything's so well matched and coordinated. Once again, super happy with the results. So yeah, I've really enjoyed showing you my process video. Be sure to stop by hipkitclub.net and grab some of these gorgeous kits for yourself. Until next time, bye bye.